During this lesson, we're going to look at different relationships between angles. The first example that we're going to look at would be two angles that form a linear pair. So in here, this example, we have angle 1 and angle 2 together are forming a linear pair, as you can see. Well, then what are we going to know about those two angles? Well, we're going to know that they're always going to be supplementary. So if we add the measure of angle 1 and the measure of angle 2 together, it's always going to equal 180 degrees. My next example, now I have two angles that are forming a right angle. So in this case, angle 1 and angle 2. And if they're forming this right angle, what are we going to know about them? Well, they're always going to be complementary. In other words, add their two measures together, and it's going to equal 90 degrees. Now in this theorem, I've taken 4 different theorems and kind of crammed them all together. Good or bad, let you decide. If you like them all crammed together as one, leave it this way. If you'd rather pull them apart into the 4, you can do that. I will read the 4 theorems to you, but I'm going to leave this part out until the very end. So the first theorem says if two angles are supplementary to the same angle, then they are, and we're going to fill in the blank. The next one would say if two angles are supplementary to congruent angles, then they are, and we're going to figure that out. And the last one's going to say, the last two, if two angles are complementary to the same angle, then they are, fill in the blank. And the last one will be if two angles are complementary to congruent angles, then they are, well, and that's what we're going to look at. I have an example here. So basically, if I go to this first one, if two angles are supplementary to the same angle. So I'm going to take angle 1 here and angle 2. And I'm going to say that those two angles are supplementary to angle 3. So angle 1 and angle 3 are supplementary. Angle 2 and angle 3 are supplementary. Well, then what do we know about angle 1 and angle 2? Well, we're going to know that those two angles are congruent. And it's going to work for all of them. So if you go to the next one where it says if two angles are supplementary to congruent angles, well, in that example, it would be saying that angle 1 and angle 3 are supplementary. Angle 2 and angle 4 are supplementary. And you also know that angle 3 and angle 4 are congruent. Well, if you know all that information, again, what are you going to know about angle 1 and angle 2? Same thing, they're going to be congruent. And it's going to apply if you change the supplementary to complementary. We're going to get the same results. My last theorem here would be working with vertical angles. So if you know you have two vertical angles, what are you going to know about them? And in this case, I have this picture, and I've shown you that I'm looking at the vertical angles, the blue ones, they will be congruent. And if you look at the red ones, they're also going to be congruent. So if two angles are vertical, then you're going to know they're congruent. That's going to conclude the lesson portion of this video. I will also have some examples on another video.